I may say things that I already have talked about because I'm just really I'm telling you, it's so weird. It was kind of reminding me of when I first got my brain injury and how I felt so disconnected from everything. Like, it is, it's very strange because, like, I seriously, everything's disconnected. I don't know. I don't even know what else to say. Everything's disconnected. Everything is just different. It just keeps changing. And it just, so anyways, my daughter's not coming again. This is the third. And yesterday, because then she had her birthday party, and she's always been one of those people who goes all out for her birthday. She has big, elaborate, like, parties where it's a theme party. She always has fun parties, just like her wedding, to be in another country. Like, cause she's kind of bougie like that. But but what I had told her a while back was like, you doing that in our family, it gives everybody an opportunity to go to those things. So, I feel lucky to have someone like that in our family who likes to go all out for a party and is into celebrating themselves. And so I don't think anything's wrong with that, but it is strange. I mean, to me, I talk about all the time how people just continue to try and kind of live their life as if nothing's going on. But so many people just, to them, nothing is going on. Even to my kids, who I tell them and tell them and tell them and tell them, then because I've been saying it so long, they just think, oh, they think I'm crazy. I just saw this other grandma sitting there, and she was all upset. And she said this weekend she had a horrible experience and she needs to talk about it. And she went and picked up her 3-year-old granddaughter, and she brought her over. She was going to babysit for her while the parents were working. And so this little granddaughter's 3 years old. And so she starts saying, hey, you want to see my pictures from Halloween? I'll show you my costume. And so she's showing the pictures, and the little 3-year-old goes, you're crazy. And the grandma's like, what are you talking about? I'm crazy, what? And then the little girl goes, my mom hates you. And the grandma goes, well, she's like confused, like, what? No, yeah, you must be mistaken. And the little girl was like, she hates you, and just walks off. So the grandma's all distraught. The mother who has told the little girl she hates her is the in-law daughter. So, in the video, she hadn't talked to her son or said anything, but mine was my own daughter doing that. So I had a couple of comments on that one, because it was like, oh yeah, I've been through that experience. It's something when all of a sudden, like, even when they were smaller, if they said, oh, grandma, you're crazy, I wouldn't have taken it the same as now as it has gone on. It was in that Thanksgiving that had, when my daughter was staying here, and I went and drove and picked up the kids, brought them back, like all the stuff I would do. Nothing ever, if somebody is empty, you could do everything in the world every day and they're never going to feel like they're loved, because they're empty. They don't love themselves. So it doesn't matter what anybody else does. If you don't love yourself, nobody can love you enough to make you love yourself. So, and it's weird because I can just see the distortion in perception in how people live in their pain and suffering. But so she, when they were here though, and then the one was just like, grandma, you're crazy. And it was just the way she said it. All of a sudden I was like, but I had told my, maybe it was after this Thanksgiving, because fuck, that was a year ago, man. Maybe it was. And I had told one of my daughters, I said, I would love to have each of my grandkids like write a little thing of like what I think of grandma, compare it from the two different daughters, because 3 of them, which is probably 4 at this point, and it's quite clear, I'm not going to be notified or told or anything. That whole shower incident was all just, here, we're going to invite you somewhere where you're not welcome so we can talk shit about you and make you look stupid. But, I know things turn around and it's going to expose each person. Each person is exposing themselves with their own fury, their own behavior. It's exposing them. I mean, you can't expose me. I'm not doing anything. I drove. I used all my last money to come there to try. I think you're giving a fig leaf that you want to, make up with people in your family and get back involved with your family. But apparently, no, it's just a game. And I don't know why, here, let's get mom to drive 5 hours, come over here, and then find herself a place to stay. Let's invite her to these 2 things, and then let's not speak to her while she's there. Even though she's with all these strangers, even if my grandkids were next to me, it would only be for a few minutes. They had to rush back over and be by their mom and stuff. It's just so weird when you see like how some people, they don't hold their opinions back, that they sit there and brainwash a child, especially one away from their grandparent. Oh my gosh. When I was a kid, my grandparents meant so much to me. I think that is so much robbing a child of an important relationship. And, the child that is being born now, she's doing that. And it's crazy because, she's with this Hispanic guy, and their culture is very family oriented. They'll invite Uncle Tom to the party, even though he's been perving on the kids, give him a chance to straighten up and stuff. People like there's like a loyalty or something that they have towards family that our culture is more dismissive of. And ours is like, oh, you're not gonna, ours is always just like, kick them out of the family. And then so many people, oh my God, the endless amount of videos of people, my family, sucks. I want nothing to do with my family. My family's the worst people in the whole wide world. And it's so crazy how really sick it's our whole nation, our whole country, our whole planet has become with this distortion of relationships and family dynamics and stuff. But, I don't think that anybody who's doing this necessarily knows the damage they're doing, because I can't imagine that you would know the damage you're doing and you would continue to do it. To me, it's part of the lesson. You're going to do the damage so you can learn the lesson and see why this is a toxic thing, why you shouldn't do that. And I can't sit here and just be all bent out of shape and distraught. Like, how's that going to solve anything? For me to be all, drive myself crazy. Like, she could have already had the baby. I don't even know if I will be notified at all. I'm the only person who's even been told anything at all in the family. And it's just so crazy when people who are just constantly playing games think they're healed. It's like, you've got to look at yourself. It's so easy to hide from yourself. It's not going to be able to continue. But as long as you're hiding, it is more garbage building up for you to deal with. Like, you are bringing the garbage on yourself. So it's more muck that you're going to have to go through, because there's no way out of this without going through the muck. No way out of anything that's going on. This is a path to self. So anything you've created in your life, you have to face. So it's all going to come back in on each person. And it's going to feel like a punishment, because just how people think and how they perceive is going to feel like a punishment. But it is truly an opportunity for you to see yourself, witness yourself, and heal yourself. And what you don't like, that is for you to figure out, like, well, I don't want to be like that. Like, I saw this person yesterday. What was it? It was somebody, and they were talking about something. And I see so many people just, I swear to God, even if I'm going through the videos and somebody starts it out, oh, excuse me, I know I just look like shit. Excuse me, I'm sorry for my, and it's like, you're going straight in, apologizing, trying to get somebody to say, oh no, you look great. You look great. It's like, why even bother with that? You know, I mean, if a grown ass adult cannot see, like, some days, you know, you look good, some days you don't look good, some days you know, you're gonna, sometimes it just doesn't matter what you look like. Everybody gets so focused on what you look like. And so when they do that right away, I'm just like, ugh, I don't know. That just is cringy to me, so cringy. But this one was this, let me think of what it was. This girl, I was about to say it, then I go and say another thing. I can't think of it now. Well, maybe it'll come back to me. I have seen so many different videos, like, and it is like repetitive. So much of it is like repeat. But but I can kind of do like some of the stuff that I've seen that seems like a somewhat new. So now they're blaming the pipeline on England. It is so crazy too. So you're going to just say, oh, it's these guys, which to me, what I hear is the deep state is just saying, hey, go ahead and bomb them. You know, we've been trying to wipe them out as fast as possible. It's not going fast enough. So please, just, this is our scapegoat place. Like, because it's the same group. It's not just the English prime ministers or something. And there's a group over the group that we think is running things. No, there's a group over them. And those people are just scapegoating different places. Oh, right now here, I didn't even finish saying this, I don't think, yesterday. So it's been so freezing cold, which, you know, I'd done those experiments last year and showed that the thermostat, it will say something, and then the temperature that they'll show us on the phone, it will be like 5 degrees different. You know, I think there may have even been some where I found it was maybe 7 or 10. Like, it has been saying that it is, well, now they've got it dropped down to freezing. So, and they're going even further. We're going to go down in the teens. So, and it just is, it's so fucking ridiculous. Is, you know, where I live, it's not even supposed to be weather like that. And it is, when I looked it up when I was moving, because I was looking up everywhere, all over the place, different places to go retire, and when I was looking at for the weather, and because I was gonna go just straight ass down south. I was gonna just head for New Orleans, I think in 2015 or 2016, and then my kids were really, really worried over, you know, me going down there by myself and having a brain injury, and, you know, if I'm even making good choices, like, why am I suddenly going to move to New York, you know? So there was a lot of pressure put on me. And that is like when I started going out and driving and proving to myself, and I'm saying, I got to go out and go on these road trips. I got to prove to myself, like, for so long, when you have people just constantly in your face, you're so crazy, something's wrong with you and stuff like that, it makes you start to doubt yourself. Like, it is so crazy how much we really do see ourselves through other people's eyes. That's just so clear. And it has been so important. But that is part of the evolution to self, is to pull free from that. So it's important to recognize it so you can start detaching the tentacles of that beast off of you. Because it is, every single thing is, it's not just like one little snap and it's all fixed. It's a process to go through. It's a self-discovery. It's an entire path to enlightenment. It is no quick, easy way. And there is no jumping ahead. You have to go through the process, and that process unfolds as you move through it. So you don't even know where it's all going and what all you're, you know, it just continues to unfold, and you have to continue to participate and pay attention. And so anyways, when I was looking at the weather, it was, I can't even remember, it was a couple days ago. And I got up, and whatever it was just a real quick change in the weather. Like, it goes from shitty to extra shitty or something. It was just kind of abrupt. And so then I was like, especially when you're going for months and months, no rain in the rainforest. And then all of a sudden you're just slammed with rain, 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 rain. And that it's so ridiculous. Like, where was all this rain? It just suddenly, after a week, it had all built up over the whole entire summer. Where are the clouds that built up in? Where is this rain coming from? It's so absurd. It's so fucking absurd. Like, I actually grew up when the rain would fill the clouds would sit there, the clouds would empty the rain, and then the clouds would go away, and then it would start over again. And this whole thing of like, I don't know. I mean, now seeing the footage of this planet that they're showing on the news, and is that big purple planet behind the sun, what they're trying to block, and use that fake sun to blind you so you can't look up at it, and then spraying everything to block our view. But it's just so crazy. Is back when I had my Facebook, and in that, I was talking about that yesterday, when I started awakening and I started doing those pictures, and then they took my account down, and now I posted about that, and now other people are saying that. So see, when we were just barely even waking, as soon as we started pointing out things that were weird, they were on top of it. They were taking our accounts down before we even knew we were being censored. So it's I don't know. It's all so fucking bullshit. But so then, and that planet thing, that's this whole planet thing, being right there, I really think this is what they're trying to block. Something that is going on up in the sky. And I think I said that a long time ago. I don't even remember. I've been talking about this shit for so long, and you do, see more and more, and it does open your mind more and more. But now, I feel like something's gonna happen in the sky with this asteroid, planet, Nurubu, Wormwood, whatever the hell, the Anunnaki, gonna fly in for dinner, whatever the hell's going on. I don't know. I just wish it would hurry the fuck up. So, it was so fucking cold. And so I went in, I looked at the, every time I'd open the door and let Stella out, I was like, man, it feels like it's like 20 degrees. I even went out to try and get some wood and stuff, which I've got to get out of my mind with this wood thing. I don't even want to go into it, but just looking at it and going, that is not a fucking cord of wood. I just hope I just want to make it through this. However long I got to be here, however long this is going to go on, I don't know. Last year was pretty hellacious when I ran out of wood. And then it was the same when I had all that wood and I was sharing it with somebody else who had just moved in, and then they never even gave any back. And then when I go in on with a whole bunch of wood, then I get shorted again. It's just like, oh my God, I don't understand people. I just don't understand people. Like, people are just so selfish and so self-absorbed and so just into what's good for them. They don't really, just whatever. So, anyways, when I finally looked at the phone to see what the weather, plan was for the next week or whatever, and then I saw, it's just rain, 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 and temperatures just dropping, and just knowing about the homeless and stuff. Like, it even was a commercial, I'm sure it was a political bullshit commercial, but showing Seattle and all the crime and the drugs and it's all these homeless people. Like, this weather has got to be affecting them. When you get everything you have is sopping wet, even if you're living in a tent or any kind of outdoor shelter, even if I'm outside with a coat and everything on, when it is cold, I'm still cold in my bones. And that's why I'm always have so much empathy for these people and why I've wanted to be down south. I grew up in the South, and I feel like it's more of what my body can regulate, but then I also love, like, I would love to have winters like just like snowed off in my own little cottage, my own little space and my own little, I don't know, like a hibernation. In winter, I do like that whole thing. So, but you got to be prepared, and it's not being under attack the whole time. So then they, when I looked at it, then it had a weather warning at the top, one I had never heard of before. It says something like hydrogel floods or something like that, warning. And so I was like, what the hell is this? Now they're coming up with new words. They're just making shit up. And so I went on and looked, and it says something about flood. They're expecting the Cascades to have a flash flood, and that is all around my area, which, they just did the other flood. I told you. They just did the other flood. And then the people aren't even back in their houses, and now they're going to flood the same place. Because where I'm at, the water is going to keep running down. It's going to keep filling. And then they're down there where the rivers break free. And then floods their whole area. So, but up here where I'm at, they've killed all of the trees. And now they've got this high mountain flood coming down. And so to me, that's mud flood all over it. That is when those kind of floods start coming, I've seen the footage like in Pakistan, and they just did another one somewhere else. But trees and everything come. So, yeah, I don't know if that's what they're going to do. But so we're under a weather warning through the week. Every time I go check, it seems like they keep extending it. It's been raining nonstop. And for days. And so, well, I guess it has had a couple of periods of time and stopped for a couple of minutes, but it's just raining, and freezing cold. And so anyways, I don't know. It's so fucking exhausting. I swear to God, it's just mentally exhausting. There's a part of you that's just got to let go. But then, you can't just bury your head in the sand, because no matter what, it's still coming. They're still coming after us. Like, there's no getting away from it until they're arrested, which I saw footage yesterday. And it was, they were talking about the stuff with Paul and Nancy, and they were bringing her out to the car, and definitely looked like she was cuffed up. So, I know they're arresting people. I know stuff is going on. Scavino, I guess somebody shared his tweet, and it was just like doing the ocean, a giant wave, only it was all red. And there's already stuff where the Dems are saying I think they're going to go blue. I think they're going to go cheat all full in. And all these people who are expecting this to save them is going to just create a lot of anger, frustration. I think people are going to panic. The people who are dependent on thinking that actually the vote has some sort of leverage in our life. It's all a game. So I think that there's going to be people that's going to be slapping them just dead ass in the face. I saw this footage of this down in Texas, this, I don't know, lady who's running against Beto. And she was there at I guess it was a library or something. And they've got rules like where you can talk and you can't get this close and all that stuff. And of course, he's breaking all the rules, has this giant crowd in a completely unacceptable place and isn't following any rules. And this lady who's running against him is out there freaking out and telling the journalists and stuff. But all of it is the absurdity to keep waking people up, to keep showing them. Like, this is a completely corrupt system, and everything about it is, it's a game. There's nothing real about it. There's not, this elections and stuff isn't real. It's just a thing to give us this idea that we have control, and then to put people in, and then especially when they put people in you don't like, and then you can blame somebody else. It creates division, and they love that two birds, one stone thing. That is a joy for them. Anything that they can do to take out more and more of us at one time. And now they're, I guess in California, they're already going all in on the new baby thing that they got going. And is a respiratory thing that they won't stop talking about, because now the PF has a whole new thing for all these little tiny babies. And in California now, if this lady was in Orange County, and she said that if you don't take the required stuff that they're telling you that you have to take, now they got the CPS involved and will take your kids from you. It's all part of it. It's all part of the whole thing. The way they've been setting it up, like I've been watching as this is going, as they set up the judicial, the whatever they see as the requirements of how they can go in and steal your kids, because the laws are set up, they're designed for them to be able to commit crimes against us and protect them. And it just so happens that when you're around all of this evil fucking energy, that a lot of people pick up on that energy and they start being evil. And then these people, they know how to mind control and manipulate people. So they create criminals. That is, they create criminals even out of soldiers and stuff. Like if the soldier doesn't do what they're told, then, they will attack them. They'll murder them. Like they don't care. It is everything in this whole thing is just nothing what people think. People rely on, trust certain people, certain organizations, and it's corrupt as fuck. And so now, as they're throwing England under the bus, apparently, and now as they're saying that they're going to start doing the nukes, and that they're going to, because England's already made a action of war. The whole thing is just everything they can do. These people who are over everybody else, everything they can do to just create this giant war. And then they can come in, they could go in and just drop a bomb in Seattle and then blame somebody else. That's all they do. That's all they do. Just go in, drop a bomb, do this, do that, and then blame somebody else. That's what they did with the towers. That's what they do all the fucking time. And now that my daughter's not coming, right? And it was 3. This is the 3rd one that she was trying to come. And right now they won't even cancel her flight because she was going to fly, because when she tried to drive across, the first time her and her daughter got in a big fight, and then she didn't know if she should leave her, and then it wasn't going to leave her, and then she didn't feel good. And it was like one thing after another. And I was like, okay, she's not coming. And then at some point she's like, okay, I'm just not going to come. I'm like, okay, you just need to rest and stuff. Like, and then the next weekend. So she was just, okay, I'm going to come the next weekend. I'm going to come by myself. I'm not going to argue with her. Fine. And so then she comes, she starts driving, gets halfway here. And then they close the pass and turn her around and make her go back. So then this one, she was coming and going to fly in, and then she got super sick again. It was like 2 weeks. Oh, this is so hard. This is so fucking hard. God damn. I can't even watch the videos where the people just will not nonstop just talking about it. What's in it? What's it do? Well, all this stuff. It's like, I can't even. I have way too many people that I love who have that inside of them, and then to not know how much, and now all these little babies being born, and that I know of personally, and now they're making them take more of these, or they'll take them away. Oh, I'm just, goddamn, how long can this go on? I really think we have got to be, even when they very first started threatening the nuke attack, what was that, 3 weeks ago, a month ago at this point? So, it's got to be getting closer and closer. But when my daughter was, all upset because she's going through all this hard stuff and she wants to just come spend time with me and stuff. She's like, I don't understand. All I want to do is come and hang out with you and talk to you and stuff. And everything keeps going wrong. And I said, I don't know. Maybe it is that you are dependent on me, and the universe is trying to make sure that you are healing yourself, like they're trying to get you to focus on something else. And I said, but I follow the signs, And when all signs are saying stay home, I wouldn't be trying to force this. I wouldn't try and force it, especially with, I mean, they don't know all the stuff going on. But especially as somebody who does, it's like, hell no. I did not want her to be flying at all. Not only just the clots. Like I don't know what all in her lot now. I don't know what all's going on. Like all these people are sick non-fucking stop. I have not been sick at all besides the poison. Like I can tell that. Like I mean, then you just live in a regular state of sickness when you're being poisoned every fucking day. I saw a creepy ass thing too. So this was a British mom and daughter, and so she had gotten 2 glasses of water. One was distilled, and one was tap. And then she got this thing. She said it was like $5. I think she bought it used. It was something you put in the water, and it separates all of the metals and stuff out of the water. And it separates the chemicals or something. It does something. So it looks like these 4 bars, and it's hooked to this electric thing. So she put it in the 2 glasses of water. And in the distilled one, it did nothing. It just sat and, just kind of moved it. Didn't change the color. Nothing changed. The other one, the tap water, oh my God. Within minutes, it started heating up. It started turning black. It started bubbling like it was boiling. All these different colors start coming out, and they were looking on the thing. It said, if this color comes, it's this. If this color comes, it's that. It had arsenic, heavy metals, all sorts of junk in it. The water, by the time they finished, it was completely looked thick and black. The cup was hot, and it had this much water at the very bottom of this glass. It was all this, looked like black goo. Plus it had heated up. That goes inside of us. What happens when we heat it up with our own bodies? Like it goes into our organs and sits there, goes into our joints. Like I know that this stuff goes into my joints and sits. I know that's what gets my joints stiff. And then, I was doing the baths to try and detox, and now they've got the water so toxic. It's like you can't just sit and soak in the tub. You got to be careful. You got to be careful how much you even shampoo. Like they've got so much, shower. They've got so much poison in it. And it's absorbing through our skin, through our hair. Just think of even having your hair wet with all that stuff, absorbing and drying right into your head. And then where can we go? What can we do? And nutty enough, even when I just get out and wash my hair, I still have to put the dry shampoo. Because it's like a powdery stuff. And I still have to put that in my hair because it's like an oil slick on my head. And so I don't know. God. I just know that all this stuff has got to, it has got to be like coming to its finale. Like I don't see, unless it really is that most of the people are going to die. I just think that so hard to try, because when you're trying to watch the game, so it's kind of like you're watching this, these champion chess players play, and you don't even know the game as well. You're trying to understand each move and what they are doing and everything going back and forth. Especially to me, it's more than just chess. It's almost like Chinese checkers or something. Because to me, the one side is coming in hard on the other side. And the other side is trying to drag their feet. They're trying to be in control and be slow and calculating and do what they want to do and take us all out, but in a speedy kind of way. But the other side is pushing them, which is making them have to do something before they're ready. Just however they're pushing. Like I'm sure Nancy wasn't expecting to be exposed right then, and I'm sure this is going to lead to a lot of exposing. And that is going to be one thing I think that's going to become really tedious that we're going to have to go through, is really get into the nuts and bolts of some of the crimes these people did. I think it's going to become just fucking tedious as fuck. Listening over and over and over, knowing how rotten these people are. I think that is going to be, because think about this. For those of us who have been awake and saying, and speaking out about all this stuff and sharing information, we've all been seeing it to the point where we're just like burnt out. And these people who are in denial of it, well, they're going to want to know everything, because they're going to, for one thing, trying to figure out, like, how did I miss this? What was I not seeing? And it's going to really blow their minds, because people who are mind controlled don't realize they're mind controlled. And so this weather, I'm telling you, is so sucky. And I'm just so fucking sick of all this shit. I swear to God. But anyways, so if they, so when the information starts coming out, all of these different crimes, those people are going to, be wanting all of this information. But I think there's still going to be that kind of a little bit of a divide. No, there's a lot of people who aren't awake at all. But the people who are awake, who are outspoken, are usually awakened to the certain things. There's just more things that they haven't seen. So they are kind of, you get stuck on the horrible corruption and the crimes against kids and stuff like that. That just is, for good reason, why it's so horrendous and why people just get stuck. But so, we're going through it. It's kind of like all of us are going through it on one side of the glass. And then when it turns, and then the people who are in it are going to be seeing it from the other side. So they're going to want to know a lot of this stuff. And a lot of this stuff is going to be, I think, just really, I think there's going to be kind of where I had heard about where they're just going to be putting this stuff on TV. Like, there's not going to be other programs. There's not going to be shows and stuff. It's just going to be like televised Nuremberg trials, kind of like. It's going to be like that. And I think that is going to have a lot of people glued to it, wanting to know how they saw it and stuff. And those people, it'll be better too than the people that are just reactive and angry. And those, because there's going to be all those people too. So I just think it's going to be a lot. And then you're going to have the people who are just still stuck in pain and ego, who want the people who wake up to apologize like they have no clue what's going on. That's what I'm saying. These people who think they're awake, but they're clueless. Like, I can hear what people say. They don't understand how this is the awakening. They think something else is going on, and they try and make it make sense. And so they think like the government has just suddenly gone crazy, and there's some people in denial of it and stuff. They don't really get like how big this really is, and then everything happening is for the awakening. So it's all to awaken people, so that people get their consciousness into their current life. Because if you're not living from your current perspective of life in the here and now, then you're living somewhere else. You're not even being in this life. You're focused on all these other things that have your mind corrupted and your emotions charged. And, I think most people are living back in the past. And what's also strange too, is I was thinking about this, because I think that so many people, like, to me, it was something I saw somebody say, and they were talking about that, that they used their visualization to create the world they wanted. But see, that's where I'm always saying, like, I don't think that we use our visualization to create it like that. I think we're shown, I think they show us in our mind what the path is, what our future is, what they show you. And then you can make a choice, like, do you go for what they're showing you? Do you follow what they're showing you? Because in so many cases, if they're showing you a success story, then you yourself will block that, because you don't think you're worthy. You don't think you're good enough. You don't think you could do it. So you will block yourself. So then that's your path to self-discovery, to learn how to love yourself, to learn your own value. So that would be the timeline situation, that you are on that timeline. So they're showing you, and that triggered you to have doubt. So then you're on this path to learning your own value. So it's all part of that progression. Even if you don't reach that point, it's all for the same purpose, if you can get my drift. And so if they do show you your path, and it is better, far more fantastic than what you imagine, and you think, I deserve that, I could do that, I love myself, I have value, and you stay focused on that, it will take you towards that destiny. So they show you. And the thing is, I think, is because since people are not recognizing that there's a communication, that this is, your brain isn't a thought creator, it's a receiver. And so when you have the information that's coming in, and so many people think it's their thoughts and all of the stuff, how people are understanding how they work. Because when I hear people talk about it all the time, it just kind of weirds me out, because my perspective and my perception of how my understanding is different. And, and I don't know, like I've said, maybe I'm just way behind. I don't know. But to me, so if people have, like, you get this flash, say, like you're trying to understand something or whatever, and you get this flash in your head, and then it is something for you to learn. And if it's something like, say, for instance, from a past life, and you get this vision all of a sudden of you being somewhere, because this happens to me all the time. I got a really good one yesterday too, and I was like, oh my gosh, maybe this is why I really want this lifestyle again. But it was like I was like some sort of pioneer woman or something, and it was like out there working hard, and it was just like this flash, like I was doing something, and all of a sudden, and this happens a lot to me, but I was doing something, and all of a sudden it was a flash, and I was somebody else, and I was seeing their thing. And so I think if that kind of stuff happens to people when they don't understand this supernatural, magical world, and and they don't understand about reincarnation, which I just heard a really interesting thing. This guy did this little clip thing about reincarnation. And so he was doing, like, playing both parts for his little skit. And the first guy was like, can you believe people are so stupid to believe in reincarnation? And the second guy himself, he starts saying, have you seen the studies out of Virginia University of the doctors who did all these studies on these kids who were claiming these other lives, and they went and did all this research and stuff, and there is a huge amount of kids that solved their own deaths, their own crimes. They took the police to their bodies, they told them who killed them, they did the whole thing. And so this guy's like, how could that be if reincarnation is fake? How could that be? Like, there's a whole bunch of stuff about these studies. And that's why I'm always saying, like, if people cut themselves off from information, but if you go out and you start reading books about reincarnation, about near-death experiences, and when I very first started reading them, I mean, it was like, I was like blackballed books or something. I was like, reincarnation was thought of being so out there crazy to even consider something so ridiculous that you would be born over and over and over. And to me, I was always like, how do you think that's weird? But you don't think it's weird that you're just here as like this weird thing that all of a sudden just realized it's alive, and then it focuses on gods in the sky and angel. I don't know. To me, it is weirder, the stuff I hear people say. Way weirder than reincarnation. Reincarnation makes every bit of sense to me. It's like, it's like we're azaleas or something. I think that's one of the flowers that comes back every year. But that is, it's how nature works. It isn't, I don't know. I just get weirded out by how people see things. But anyways, I think that So when people are getting these insights or memories or something for them to remember and work on from a past life, they're just in denial of it. They just think their brain's just thinking something. My brain just thought this weird thing. And they just don't even understand. Like, you're translating too. It is like you're translating the information all the time. So they're always giving you information, and you got to translate it. You got to understand it. But it's weird. I don't even know how to, like, when you have this whole thing happening, but then they're totally in denial of that, and they think this whole other thing is happening, and they perceive and look through the lens of that other thing happening, although it's something else happening. It just really weirds me out. And that one girl too, who was talking about how minds work or something, she was really weirded out. She keeps doing all these videos now because she was so weirded out to find out that people can see things and hear things inside their head. And she's like, she doesn't see or hear anything, and she keeps doing all these tests to try and see, like, if she can imagine someone's voice. Like, someone said, well, can you imagine Morgan Freeman's voice? No, she can't. She can, to her, it would come in more like Morgan Freeman's voice. It wouldn't come in as she would hear the voice. So she said it's more like it will tell her. And so then she said that there was, that she's weirded out. She said she's so weirded out to think that people can see inside their heads and stuff. I can see inside my head. I hear all sorts of voices. I hear multiple voices. But it's not even just the voices. It's an energy. Like, you can feel the energy. And it's weird too, is because sometimes it's like the energy comes, and then it will pop up in your head, and you'll know. Or sometimes it can be a smell, like you smell something and you'll know somebody's by you. But like, I don't know. I hear voices all the time in my head. I see inside my head. I see, I don't know. It's just weird. Like I have said before, like how everybody perceives life. And there's got to be, there's a purpose to how we're all different. There's a reason. And everything, and the reason is, when we all come together with our differences, it makes a whole. It can make a whole completion. And I know that that is a huge, important part to this whole journey, this whole process. And now I saw this girl, and this is what, the shit is just getting so divided. The one lady who had done the video, I'm done. All of you need to get off of here. You need to get out there, and she was just going hog wild, ridiculing people and telling them, get the hell off of here. And she's going to go out. She's going to make sure her and her family live and all this stuff. And so yesterday, when I went back on TikTok, there she was. There she was again. So then I go on and I look. No, she removed that video. That video is not there anymore. She's back at it. She's like, it's almost like everybody has just become like bipolar. Like they don't even know like what they're doing, what they think, and why do you need to make an announcement? I can't even tell you how many people I see that go on there. Well, I've been off here for a couple days. Well, it's like, I don't know that anybody would even notice. Like, why are you even saying anything? Like, it's just, I don't know. I don't know. There's something so egocentric about it. Like, the world can start again. I've returned. And I don't know. It's just so weird how every time when I would see that girl's videos before, it was just like, constantly just divide, and her being biracial and all the constant, against the colonizers and just, oh my gosh, all this stuff, just, it's very strange. Like, you're biracial, you should be one of the people who's pulling both sides in. I saw a black, well, I don't know, you say a black guy. Both the people look more black than they do white, like by their hair color and their skin tone. So And this guy, he was saying something, he's both. And his attitude was very different than hers. And his is, very much about, being both. And, there's a significance to that. It's like us all coming together. There should not be this division. And I don't understand how you can be both things and then be so against one side. And then, and to not even see how much from the beginning of time it has been manipulation. And the whole thing, our whole fucking story, our whole lives have been manipulated. Like, and I don't even think, like, I see each of the ages as being so separate. Just like when I say, like, if you went into the museum and you went to the different windows of time, that is the same thing. There's a separation. There's a reset in between. It doesn't just naturally progress from one thing to the other, but it is that all this footage that these people keep sharing about these old buildings and the pictures of the giants and, oh my gosh, all of that stuff. And it is, this one was talking about, like, we are just the receivers of this much more developed place. They destroyed that to try and, or did they just pick up the pieces and covered it up just to lie to us? I don't know. There's so much hidden about this place that, is left for us to know. And I think probably a lot of it in the beginning, all we're going to be hearing about, hopefully that we're going to start hearing about space stuff and dimensional stuff and consciousness and stuff right away. But I think it's going to be so much of really trying to get people to understand the crimes and get us all on the same page, because it really is such an important part of the awakening, is the unity of us coming together. It's vital for the whole entire galaxy. It is this big progression for us. And it is significant for all the different groups, because we are so many different people in one area, and not just, by how we define here, but we all have all these different DNAs from all these different places. We all have different ways of looking at things. We're all perceiving life in different ways. So when we all come together and share these perceptions, and we don't have to agree, we don't have to see it through someone else's eyes. We can just acknowledge it, just accept. Like, I see and hear people all the time say things that I don't agree with. I'm not going to go in and tell them they're wrong. That's how they perceive. That is how they perceive life. That is how they perceive creation. That's how they perceive their creator. That's how they perceive their spiritual attachment. You can't go in and tell somebody that theirs is wrong. They have to do it different than yours. I know it isn't like, I don't have to hope that these people are going to start seeing the story behind Jesus. I know that they will, because there's so many who are expecting this second coming. And it trips me out is how many people are expecting this second coming, like, just the philosophy behind. So you think this guy was supposed to come here, suffer his whole life, and write this book, try and help people, get murdered, and then when you're going through it, you want him to come back and do it for you. You don't have to do a damn thing. This guy's going to come back and do it all again, and you get to sit back and just watch what he does. I don't know. I think he showed you, he told you, he wrote a book about it, even though the book got, messed with, and they tried to create control out of his stories and manipulated them. If you have this person who is a part of your soul, if he is a part of you, then you have a relationship. So the Bible shouldn't matter, because you're talking directly to Jesus at that point. You've attached to his spirit, his consciousness, his his legacy, his lessons, his teachings. So you've connected to them energetically. You've connected to this person. If you bypass the religion, you got to bypass the religion. And because that's the manipulation, and that is the upside down twist of the things that you think represent the devil is what they have you, that's what they're putting on Jesus. But then the people who all you need is the name, just Jesus, and then you don't have to worry about the rest. It's like, well, you need to worry about the rest because they are causing you to divide, to judge all the things that Jesus told you not to do. You're doing it in Jesus' name, but you're doing it for the people who are manipulating your mind. But you're doing it in Jesus' name. So where's your personal relationship? You got to have a personal relationship. No matter who it is that you are following. And there's a lot of deities out there. People can follow their path. If you feel totally in alignment with a different deity, that is your connection. That is your path. And you got to remember that when it goes up to the God as a whole, the creator, the creation of the whole galaxy, the solar system, which I think also kind of, if you watch that movie Tron, isn't that the movie where they put the guy inside the body and then all the things that are going on in the body? That is like what is outside of the body. Everything is micro, macro. So the same universe that's inside you is outside of you. And so whoever it is, your deity or whoever it is that you feel motivated to follow. So when it goes out from, like I said, like the organs, like if you think of it as the body, so then each organ has its own significant impact, its own, you could say its own deity, its own philosophy, its own path. And so then if you feel motivated or connected to the person who is the light holder of that path, then you have a direct connection with them. Like you should be able to just talk directly to Jesus. You don't need to go through some fucking whacked out preacher asking for money or anybody else. There's nobody you need to go through. That's a misconception. That's a lie. You go directly to your source and you develop a relationship with them. They lead you on your path. They show you which direction to go. They'll tell you in your heart. You start to do something that is not in alignment with them, they'll point it out to you. They'll say, hey, that's not nice. Oh, that's not good, or whatever. However you develop your communication with them, because it is all in translation and it's all up to you. But you don't go through them. You don't need a book. You just need it's the faith. It's the understanding. And that is your spirit truly coming on. Your spirit can talk to another spirit anytime it fucking wants. Spirits can communicate all the time. And it is, if you are aware of this world, if you're focused on the dollhouse and what's going on in the dollhouse, or if you're focused on what is going on with your spirit, who's your spirit talking to? What's going on up in there? And so that makes a difference of how you are living your life. If you're living your life all through your three-dimensional perspective, through the dollhouse, then, you got to worry about, what does this person think? What's that person think? How do I please this person? How do I please that person? Who do I need to be to please all these people? How can I be the person to please all these different people? Then who am I at the end? When do I please myself? Who am I? What do I want? What do I like? It's all of that. It is truly this complete, it's an annihilation of self to leave the 3D, because you have built this whole persona that was never you to just please other people and be acceptable by the mainstream crowd, is just to fit in. You create somebody different. And then, for me, luckily, when I was just kicked out of the route, all of my whole self started just crumbling. It was imploding on itself. Everything I had built was falling apart around me. I didn't have any other choice. And I know that is happening for everybody. And so that's why I talk about it, because it's a process. It's all part of the process. And you can get through it. And it is very much like an existential crisis when it begins to happen, because it's like, who am I? Why am I this way? Why am I this way? Why do I do this? Who am I doing this for? Like all of those questions. But there is just so many people who, they want to push their savior on somebody else because their savior is the only savior. It's the only savior you can deal with. There's no other savior. It's like, well, that's limiting thoughts because, as far as I'm concerned, I've lived tons and tons of lives, and you got to think of a life is a dream. It is going into an experience. Like these people who think, well, maybe I'll live one or two. I mean, how many books do you read just in a lifetime? How many dreams do you have just in a lifetime? Every night, how many dreams do you have? So it's life after life after life. It's going into the experience. Going through the experience, you learn. And so it's just like reading a book. You read a book like Tom Sawyer, you go and you read that book. Then you learn from his experience. You learn from Huck Finn and Tom and what they went through. So you learn that. But so then in the concept of life and living an incarnation, and these are all words. You got to keep this in mind. I saw this thing. This just waxed my fucking head out. I swear to God. And I see this so freaking much. This one I just saw. This guy was like, talking about he's a channeler. And also keep in mind, when I understood that I was channeling, that was new. I didn't know. It just came naturally to me. I thought we all had these people talking to us. I didn't know it was anything different than anybody else. And then, so in my awakening, when I was going through the Reiki, the QHHT, all of these different things that everybody starts doing when they wake up, is that I started... what was I just saying? So it was when I started waking up, and it was when I was listening to Daniel Scranton, because I was even going to take one of his classes because he was talking about channeling and stuff. And when he was, and I even had that session with him where I talked to the Anunnaki or whatever. And so when, after I had that one and I wanted to take his class, and I don't know how it ended up being, but somehow the Moore Show, it's a guy and it's called the Moore Show, and he also channeled, but he went and started talking to all these different channelers. He was trying to understand himself. So I was watching all of these show with all these channelers talking. And when I was listening, I was like, well, that's the same thing I do. They're not doing anything different than I do. So that is how I discovered it. I didn't realize. I just really thought that that's just was a part of how everybody perceived life, that we all had someone talking to us and guiding us and telling us what to do and why we're doing it and all that stuff. Like, I had no idea we weren't all living like that. And so that's when I realized, oh, so I'm channeling, I'm listening. Where other people don't listen, I'm listening. And, lucky for me, I always just think, God, that was just fortunate. That, especially when you hear of all these little kids who did, and then they forgot. They stopped listening. They stopped seeing and stuff. And I just feel fortunate I didn't. And I do try and figure out and understand why. But anyways, this one that I saw yesterday, and he is like, or was it this morning? I don't know. I'm so messed up on time. I even freaking have the same pajamas on from yesterday. It's still the middle of the night, though. It's not even tomorrow yet. So, but so he was saying that he was channeling Archangel Michael. He starts going through all this fucking list of all these names. I was like, where in the hell do people fucking come up with this? That all these entities, all these spirits, all these angelic creatures are all going by English names. It's like, I don't know. Some of this stuff to me is just, it's so absurd. Like, I don't know who all these people are channeling. I don't know. Maybe they're all talking, they're just naming their pets. I have no idea how. I think it's so strange how they're all just like, oh, I'm channeling this person, this person. And then they'll start saying exactly what they're saying. This one girl who I don't even remember who, how I had seen her before. I think it seems like she talks about the Schumann resonance, but I don't know. I just see her sometimes pop through. So something apparently now, they're the new age people are, it's so disappointing how they take all these names and then they just destroy all this stuff, and then other groups start talking smack about it. So apparently new age people are now something with Christ consciousness. Now they're changing that whole concept or something. It's like I don't even know. And so this girl was all against all the spiritual people, all the new age people. The spiritual people are just love and light. It's your fault if you're unhappy. You should be able to control your I don't even know all the bullshit they say. And it pushes people away from it. And then the Jesus people are so strong, like, this is the only way. This is the only way. And then they use fear to get people like, well, go to hell then. Go to hell. Like, that's manipulation. That is control. That, like, people are not recognizing their own stuff. It is, but all that is just going to keep coming out and coming out and coming up to the surface. So, I don't know. I don't know what, some of these spiritual people are out there saying, but like I keep saying, you really have to be careful. Oh, you don't just follow somebody like that. Like, you can go listen to all the different stuff they're saying. I'm saying to just do what they say. Like, don't just do something because somebody else tells you to do it. And, I don't know. There's a whole bunch of this stuff all in this awakening that is all going to be blowing up. And it's so crazy, too. I can watch it playing out on TikTok. And they're so adamant, that they're going to take TikTok down. I don't know. Could go down. It could go down any day. It could go down any minute. Anything that they do, anything can happen at any minute. I mean, it's the end of everything and the beginning of something different. So we don't need things from the past to interfere with things for the future. The future is going to be like a clean slate, like we're going to start over. So there's going to be so much that's going to be new and different. And I think that most of everything is going to be washed away and disappear. And people are not going to want to go into Seattle after it's all fucked up and go rebuild it. Let's all go back and let's all live in Seattle now. Nobody's going to want to. Once people see, and that is a big thing that people wake up to, is realizing that they've been a slave, and that there's no future as long as you participate in their game. I mean, they plan on killing you before you reach retirement. They just want you to work hard while you're here. So, that's all part of the stuff that people have to awaken to. So anyways, I know I'm all over the place. And but I will record tomorrow if we have power or whatever. I'm shocked. I can't believe how many storms we've gone through now and have continued to have power. It's weird. When I first moved in, we were losing power all the time. And then when the temperatures dropped way down and I went and I plugged in my heat tape on my pipes, because every time my pipes freeze, then I was like, oh my gosh. So if the power goes out, all the pipes will freeze. So you won't have water. I can burn and burn and burn and burn. And the wood is burning up so fast. I swear to God, I'm going like, you can go through like 10 or 20 pieces in one day. Oh my gosh. I just can't even believe this is the beginning of November and how far we've got to go. And that when they do this bullshit, they'll drag winter out until fucking in the spring. I mean, they're starting it in the fall and it ends in the spring. It's just like how many people, because they know cold kills. Heat kills too, but cold. And how many people that they, purposely forced them out into the streets. And then the people in the streets, how do you survive? Below below freezing temperatures and sopping wet. And so I know that they are, mass murdering right now. I mean, it's happening. It's happening all around us. And it's until the the power shifts. And, and I think we're going to see the power shift. I think we're going to witness it. I think it's going to be very dramatic. But, I don't know. Scavino's sitting there doing that red wave and stuff. Like, there's way many people banking on that. And like I said, the only way there is going to be any red. And there could be a couple states that will do it, that will go red. But it will all be very, like I said, it's a chess game. And it will be very manufactured of who's going to go red and who's going to go blue. And it is definitely, it is was part of the awakening. I mean, and I know the thing behind it. But, the people who are going to go blue, that is going to just, oh my gosh, I bet you by that evening, they're already going to start burning down cities and stuff. And that won't even necessarily be the people who are mad, but, just like they go into Pelosi's house and then they say, oh, and this guy, he's, he's a MAGA Q, and all this bullshit and stuff that they say. So they'll do the same thing. They'll put their instigators out there burning down the cities, and then they'll blame it on the other people, because then the other people who are already so angry, the progressives are already so angry, and and then they just push it and push it and push it on the media. I just saw this one lady, somebody sharing a clip of The View, one of these wackadoos, going off on the abortion thing again, and how it is the conservatives that's destroying, they're turning it into Handmaid's Tale. That's what they're doing. They're doing it on purpose, all this stuff. It's like, no, it's not. Like, you're creating division. Go talk to some real conservatives. Stop getting on the government agenda. Stop playing the games. But nobody in media, they're paid to go out there and do that. And then you don't even know, like, are they mind controlled? Are they this stupid? Are they this ignorant? Are they this desperate to get a paycheck? Like, who knows? I'm sure it's different for all of them. But anyways, no, so today's a 4th. Yeah, today's the 4th. And so 4 days away from, and I hope, man, I hope that just starts it all. And whatever's going to go down, because it's just going to keep dragging and dragging. Now there's something else that's supposed to be happening later in the month. I mean, there's just constantly, oh, this date, this deadline, this. Oh, yeah, the diesel thing, yeah. We're supposed to be out of diesel here like a week and a half after the other thing. So the 8th and then the 25th or something. So I don't know. I think and then here where I'm at is just one storm after another now, and the freezing temperatures in it. Like I said, when I was moving over here and I was looking up for places, one of my biggest draws was not just that it was closer to my kids, but the temperature. It was always between 35 and 75. Hardly ever did it ever go outside of those two. So there wasn't extreme temperatures. And that's all we've had since I've moved in, is extreme temperatures. It's so manipulated. Everything is so manipulated. So anyways, I've been talking a long time. But, all I know is that until the shift happens, until we're going the other direction, until we're all safe, until we're released from debt and stuff, we're still headed, we're still being controlled by the dark, and I know that it is very controlled. I know it's all stuff playing out to show, but, I mean, there's still people dying. There's still people under attack. So even if it's a show, even if it's a movie, that's part of the movie. That's part of the show. So it's not all of us just witnessing. Some people are the players. And witnessing it is, it's devastating. So anyways, just stay strong and, stay on guard until we get through. We'll know for sure when things are going the other direction, I think, is the financial thing will show. And then it will just be, because right now there's so much truth stuff coming out. But there's going to be, when it goes, it will be like a flood just open with so much information, I think. So I think that the things we'll know when we're going the other direction that will be for sure is the financial situation, will stop. The banks will crash. That's going to cause, people panic and people angry. Oh, it's gonna bring down the house. But for those of us who are paying attention and know the good side, like the good side of it is that we're being released from all of the debt and we're moving in a more direction towards freedom at that point. And then also when that goes down, that is because right now there's so much information, but there'll be so much more. It will just be nonstop. So anyways, I still think we're close no matter what, so just, we just got to stay strong and just keep up a good fight, and the good fight is your mental health and staying strong, even when things seem lost, even when things seem like no way, it can't go any better. And you got so many people saying different things. But I say just look at it. Look at it all in a broader perspective. Look at it from different avenues, different ways of seeing it, and start formulating your own picture. Don't just jump on to everybody else's fear mongering, because everybody is just lost. And this is the event to unlose them. So anyways, I'll talk to you later. Bye.